What's going on, guys? This is Lorentz from iWood COSPLAY, and today I'm going to show you guys how I made Link's Traveler'S bow from Spirit of the Halloween. So, this is the second video after the Cricut video, so if you guys left a comment, thank you so much. I will do the winners at the end of this video, so stick around for that. And without further ado, let's get into this video right now. So, we're going to start off with the Spirit of the Halloween, but we're going to need some end caps because Traveler'S bow has that. I made these patterns right here. The ones with a hook, that's going to be the centerpiece. The ones that doesn't have a hook, that's going to be the outside piece. It's going to sandwich the centerpiece. Transfer those onto the piece of foam. This is a 6mm. This is what you get over here. We have 3 pieces. The centerpiece with the hook will be 10mm and the other 2 will be 6mm. Once we're happy with that, we're gonna put them together. You guys know the drill with contact cement. Okay, and then applying contact cement, let them dry, put them together. You have something that looks like this. And then we're going to test fit it onto the cap and see if it works. Oh, it looks pretty good. The next thing we're gonna do is we're going to use the Cricut. Now, disclaimer, you don't need a Cricut to do this part, but this is just how I do my patterns because the Cricut can cut patterns as well. Here I'm using cardboard piece of paper, which isn't my favorite, and you guys will see shortly that it doesn't work out the way I wanted to, but let's get into it. So we see the Cricut cuts out the pattern like that, and all you have to do is remove it, but the cardboard isn't the best paper, so it tears and you have something that looks like this. Usually I have poster paper, that's the best paper I like. So the cardboard isn't the best material for patterns. What I find best is poster paper, or if you guys have a chance, you guys can always pick out poster paper or like prints at GameStop or something, especially when they have big promos for video games. You can pick those up. Those are great for pattern paper, and at the end of the promos they usually throw them out, so you can always ask for just advice. But here I ran out, so I had to use some scrap cardboard, which didn't work out. But we'll make do with what we got. And of course, you don't need Cricut for this. You can obviously print the pattern out and then cut that yourself. Now this is the important part. These edges right here, they have to be beveled because we want to make a sharp edge. Once we've done that, we're going to do that for the other piece as well. And same deal, transfer that onto 6mm foam. And like before, bevel those edges as well. Once we have all those pieces cut out, we're going to test fit those pieces using duct tape and see how it looks on the bow. And everything looks pretty good. So once we're happy with that, move forward. So here I actually noticed that I made the end too long, so I trimmed them off. So I'll fix that in the pattern. Once we have those adjusted, they should look something like that. So here I'm trying something new. The ornament pieces have 2 different layers. I'm trying to make it so the 2 pieces come together and everything's complete. But from my previous experience, you can put the 2 pieces together in different layers and then combine them. If that doesn't make sense, let me know in the comments. I'm trying to put the first layer and the second layer together first on one side, and do that same thing for the other side and then put them together. If you're following along with the method I'm doing in the video, you have to make sure that each of the layers are lined properly and marked before you apply the contact cement. Here we're applying the contact cement, we're giving it a minute or 2 to dry, and then we're putting them together, and you should have something that looks like this. There's 2 pieces, perfectly fine. Now that we have the ornament pieces done, we can move over to the cool part that I wanted to talk about, and that's using the Cricut to cut the foam. So here we have a Cricut mat. It's old, so no big deal. We can use Super 77 because it loses tackiness over time, but the Spray 77 will take care of that. Put your foam on, apply your Cricut job, and we'll see it do its thing. Super cool. You can let it run and you can go make yourself some cup of coffee. Except, I came back brewing my coffee, realizing the job stopped at 25%. So this is where I ran into the debacle of having to call Cricut and having them help me figure out what's going on. Long story short, they were on the phone with me for like 3 hours. We didn't figure out what was going on, but I had to delay this video because it was just too late and had to go somewhere. But I came back to the project files and I readjusted the vectors. Doing that solved the problem. The original file that didn't work on my computer worked when I sent it over to the Cricut tech support. So that was really odd, but no big deal because I figured it out and it worked for me now. So let's get back into the tutorial. If everything went well, we should have something that looks like this. You see how the vector files are transferred completely onto the foam, which is awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, something like this. Hit it with the heat gun, and you can really see the details right now. So all you have to do is peel off the negative. With the right settings, and after hitting it with the heat gun, you should be able to peel off the negative like so. Okay, so once you do it right, you should have something that looks like this. And that filigree is awesome because you don't have to cut that by hand, and it's exactly the way you design it on the computer, which is awesome. It saves you a ton of time, and it's super useful for a ton of projects that have very intricate filigree details. Here I'm using Loctite 200, my favorite spray adhesive. So let's see that right now. Test spray it, it's looking good. Okay, we'll test it out which side it's gonna fit on. It looks like it's that side. So we're gonna spray one side and work with one side at a time. Take off one piece and carefully stick it on according to where it's supposed to be. You guys get the point of this, so let me speed through. We'll do that for the rest of the filigree pieces, and with all of that done, we should have something that looks like this. You're gonna have some extending edges like this. Just make sure to bevel them just like you did the other edges so everything lines up. So we're gonna do that for the other side, and if you do that properly, you should have something that looks like this. Do that for both ornament pieces, we have something like this. Now all we have to do is trim off the edges and use contact adhesive to put the edges together. Once the contact cement is good, we're putting it together and we're test fitting it on the bow to see how it looks like, and it's looking pretty darn good. All right, one final step for the ornament piece. We're gonna have to put some super glue on the bevel edges of the filigree because we didn't use contact cement. So that's what I'm doing right here. And like always, I seal the seam edges of my foam with some Gorilla Tape just to reinforce the seams from coming apart. So that's what I'm doing right here. There you go. Here's the Gorilla Tape on the back end, putting it on, and then I'm trimming it off. Next, I'm gonna use some rapid fill to fill in any imperfections on the ornament, especially the seam lines. 2 ornament pieces with rapid fill. We're gonna let it dry for about an hour. So while that's drying, we're gonna take the bow that we got from Spirit of the Halloween, I think for like $30. We're going to sand it with some sanding paper. This is a test, I've never done this before. This is Angela's Leather Preparer and Deglazer. It has acetone and ethyl alcohol, so that's known to basically, it's like a solvent for plastic, so it's going to prepare the plastic. I don't know if this is gonna work, so we'll see. Let's start off by sanding off the plastic and then putting some preparer on some paper and then carefully rubbing it on to the plastic. So this should prep the plastic for primer. So here's the plastic sanded and prepped with the solvent. Everything looking pretty good. So I'm gonna take it outside and hit it with 1 coat of primer and let that dry. So while that's drying, the ornament with rapid fill should be dry. So let's take that and sand away the excess rapid fill, make it nice and smooth. So that's what I'm doing right here. All right, now that it's nice and smooth, we're gonna do the exact opposite and weather it with a Dremel. So let's do that. So here I'm using a polishing wheel. I like it because it doesn't rough up the edges too much like a sanding drum. So this is my go-to weathering method for major weathering, I should say. And we should have something that looks like this. And of course the weathering is up to you, so no worries, there's no right or wrong way of doing it. For minor scratches, I'm going to use a utility knife just for these small scratches. Once all that's done, I'm going to use Cricut. This is semi-rigid to seal all of my foam. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just brushing it on. You can also spray this on, but you need a Cricut gun, which I have, but I don't have the right air compressor, so that's why I'm brushing it on. Okay, so let that dry outside for an hour. So the bow with the primer should be done now. So let's see what we have. It's looking like this. We see the mold line. It's not that pretty, so we're gonna sand it down and fill it with some wood filler. So this is what it looks like, sanded and wood fill. So we'll hit it again with another coat of filler primer. So you can take a break, watch an episode of anime. So now the ornament pieces have been Cricut and Plastidip. So they're looking like this. Pretty darn good, and we're ready for painting. So these are the end caps too. So let's see that right now. So for this method, I'm going to use a method called dry brushing. I'm going to mix some iridescent silver, and this is the brand Liquitex, and ivory black. So spray a little bit out, and then mix the 2 components, dry off the brush, then work your way around the piece. So you should have something that looks like this. Hopefully you can tell the difference. So for the ornament piece, I just put a screwdriver just so I can handle it better. Basically do the same thing, apply it. So here is the ornament piece one side painted with dry brushed and the other piece that's not dry brushed. Hopefully you guys can tell the difference. There it is, dry brushed, and that's not dry brushed. And then once they're dry brushed, we're gonna go hit it with one coat of matte varnish. So that should seal the acrylic paint from coming off. So let's do the outside. So once we hit the ornament piece with the matte coat, the prime bow should be done and ready to paint. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to hit it with a espresso dark brown walnut color. Honestly, you can use any color you want, but this is the only brown I had, so that's why I'm using it. And this is how it looks like. It's not the color I want. I looked at the reference photos. It's actually a lighter brown. It's almost like a golden oak. So I'm actually gonna switch it up with this Liquitex color right here. So once we have the brown on and it's looking a lot better now, I'm gonna come back and dry brush with this darker brown. It was a little too brown, so I'm gonna come back with the lighter brown and then touch up any areas that I went a little heavy on. Once you have all the colors or all the browns on the bow, I'm gonna take it outside and hit it with the same matte varnish I used for the ornament pieces. So while all of those pieces are drying outside, let's go work on the vinyl pieces. So these vinyl pieces, or this teal piece, is going to be used for the wrappings around the bow. Here I'm gonna use 3/4 of an inch width to make the straps, and you guys know the drill. I'm just tracing it and making my strips like so. One strip is good enough. And we're gonna do the same thing for the brown, which is going to be around the handle of the Traveler's bow, but instead I'm going to use the width of this steel ruler, which is roughly 1 inch versus the 3/4 inch. So once we have all that, which is roughly 20 minutes, the painted bow should be done now. So this is how it looks like. So all we have to do is wrap up the bow. So we're gonna wrap it up, and the ends are going to be super glued like so. We're gonna do that for both ends. We have something that looks like that. We're gonna do the brown, but the brown is actually a little short, the ones I made. So I just went ahead and made a longer strip, and I'm gonna wrap it up like so. And it's okay to pull the vinyl. It actually makes the details pop more when you wrap it. So we're gonna do the same thing for the end tip. We're gonna wrap it up with the teal, and here it is, Traveler's bow all wrapped up in the vinyl. Now the only thing next to do is to weather it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just giving it some roughing up with the utility knife, and then I'm gonna use some black mixed with brown for some weathering or grime. So I'm gonna brush it on wherever I think dirt might get caught on. Alright, so it's looking good. So once we have all that, we're gonna come back with some isopropyl alcohol to rub off any excess. So like I said before, there's no right and wrong way of doing weathering, so have fun with it. So once we have all that, the bow is looking weathered, we're ready to put on the ornament piece, which is right here. Okay, and it's sliding on, and it's looking pretty darn good. We're gonna slide on that string that we had from the original bow, which is awesome because it fits exactly. Now the only thing we need to do is put on these end caps, and I'm gonna use goop because goop works well when you're using it on something super smooth like plastic or magnet. Doing that right now. And here you have it, Link's Traveler's bow from Breath of the Wild. Okay, so hopefully you guys enjoy that video. So let's do that giveaway for the Cricut winner for the All Might jacket. Let's go over here, commonpicker.com. So I'm doing the raffle, and the winner is, drum roll, I can't really do it well, but the winner is Wolf's Paradise 101. The comment says, I'd love to see an example of using the Cricut to cut foam. That could save so much time and frustration compared to doing it by hand. Well, this video, they did exactly that. So that's funny. So I'll hit you up, Wolf's Paradise 101, hit you up. So hopefully you guys liked this video. If you guys did, make sure you hit that like button. If you guys are new here, check out these other videos I've made here. And if anything else, if you guys have questions, leave them down below. And feel free to subscribe right here. Until the next time, peace.